Good morning. Good afternoon, Dan. Coming up on the daily close now. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that, man. Just gonna calm this music down a little bit, perhaps. Let me find some more relevant music. Maybe this playlist is better. Alright. A little bit better. Not too bad. So, let me share this through the Discord, and I'll be right with you guys. Stream. Okay, the word is out. Let's get the ball rolling. What's up, Blake? Can you look at Crow and CKB for me? Yes, I'll do that. This is only going to be a brief stream. I can only really be on here for about half an hour. Then I have to get ready for work, but alright. So just starting with Bitcoin, let's check out the macro. Let's see on the daily what's been happening. I think we got some market structure. Yeah, here we go. My market structure analysis on the higher time frame. So from here, it's like the last low that mattered, I feel, on a high time frame was this one. Is it under threat? Hell no, it's like it's still way up. We are still way up, elevated. If we take this line, let me just fix it up to the high point. So there, okay, that's what we got. So if we can establish that the last line of defense on this time frame is down here, all the way down here, the point of structure that would concern me is if we got below that low on a high time frame, right? So I'll make that line red. That is a long ways down. Bitcoin would have to crash a further 42% or more, 45% from here to threaten this low. Now, what is happening right this moment? We've got 5 minutes left of the daily candle. So, if things are still bullish from this perspective on the daily, then let's go down the 4 hour. Because yeah, you can start seeing hints of new structures failing from lower time frames, right? They can sort of influence what happens on the higher time frame. So we've got these somewhat lows here. This is more like a local view of what's been going on. So there's even a low structure here. There's lows at that point, this point, that point, and then hasn't even really tested this point. It may happen. That could still be on the cards, but one thing I notice about all these lows is that they're all higher than each other. So you have a low, you have a higher low here, and then this will be just easier to do. higher low, higher low, higher low, and higher low. Whoop. So there's no real, at this point, I don't think there's anything to panic about at this point in time. You know, everything's still holding structure. It's a dip. What has been fruitful to do in the last 6 months, arguably 12 months, what has been a strategy or an approach that has been, you know, returning money? And that is, at every time we get these tests of lows, if you buy them, buy it. If you bought, and then maybe, you know, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if you bought or if you buy, the behavior has been bounce, 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 bounce. This time's different, is it? Is it going to do that? Is it all of a sudden going to do something away from the trend? It could. This is why we have stop losses, right? So if you do take position on leverage, see, this is a very distinct thing. I have to make this distinction because it's important. If you're playing leverage, you want to have, you know, if you've entered on leverage, you want to have a point of invalidation and a stop loss to prevent loss, right? It's in the name, stop loss. You want to stop any losses or any severe losses by cutting the position if you're wrong. So, just for argument's sake, there could be a long position that exists in this bubble here, like in this move down. You know, you've probably got a bunch of people that longed or laddered into long or whatever, and they're expecting a recoil, like upwards, you know. So that is the that's my position on things. That's how I feel about it. We're going into the weekend now. We've got the weekend candles in less than a minute. We start the Saturday candle. So pretty brutal Friday. Brutal correction. Friday candle. Down we went. And bigger picture, it's nothing. I don't think it's any reason to panic. My thumbnail for this stream was just me having a bit of fun. Bit of a teasing people that are in a big panic about it all. I don't think many people are too panicked from our little community we have going on, but at least there's some action happening, right? It's throwing an opportunity our way. If you're an investor, like if you're collecting, you know, not just Bitcoin, but the altcoins, and your idea is you want to build a position over the coming weeks or whatever, this is the kind of opportunities you wish you hope for, you know, like the pullbacks, you buy the dips, right? Some of you may have seen a video that I put out a couple of days ago about me explaining market structure, or it's just market cycles, like this thing, right? A market goes down and a market goes up. This is this oversimplified behavior of a market, right? Markets will do that. You know, if you can boil down what do markets do, they go down and they go up, right? So the question is, where do you buy it? Where do you sell it? Well, you certainly don't buy it here, right? You buy it down here, or you try to get in as close to this area, this zone, as possible. And this is relevant for all time frames. This could be a 1 minute depiction of a market, right? Or it can be a weekly or a monthly depiction. Like, markets cycle, they go up and down, right? So when you get the theme of the market traveling down, buying during that phase, I don't think is a bad idea. Buying up, especially if you're late to a trend, or the risk of being late or even buying the top is high. You don't want to buy in a climbing market. You want to buy into a falling market as an investor. This isn't financial advice. This is just what makes sense to me. This is my opinion. If a market is correcting, laddering in isn't the craziest thing. I think it's actually the most intelligent thing you can do. Now, when you ladder in, especially if you get heavier as price falls, your dollar cost average, your average position will be somewhere weighted to the downside because you bought heavier at the downside, right? So maybe your position exists here. No, you didn't nail the perfect bottom, but the idea is, if you're comfortable admitting that you don't know how to perfectly time the bottom, then this is the best approach to take. Dollar cost averaging into. Now, I don't advise doing this on leverage. Do not apply dollar cost averaging with leverage. Leverage is a killer for that. Leverage is a scalping tool, I feel, or if you're trying to time the market, leverage can be a good tool for that. Leverage requires that you take position off confirmation, and you need safety. You need to be assured that, okay, we've changed direction here. We've got a high or low. As an example, like let's say the market dips to a low, and then it shows a higher low. Okay, well then it's changed its behavior off, a low and then a lower low. If you get a higher low, this is what an inverse head and shoulders kind of looks like, right? You get a lower low, then a higher low, and then a breakout from the neckline. So this is where leverage can be applied in those kind of setups and things. But if you're just investing, you're just wanting to build a position over time and hold it, dollar cost averaging is a very good strategy for that, especially if it's what Quai has said in the past, value cost averaging, which is where you have a sense of good value. Like let's say you've just come off a high, right? This wouldn't be very great value. And let's say you know that there's a low, so there's a support down here and a resistance up here. So if you're siding up here with buys, you know that you're paying somewhat of a premium, so maybe if you do start to enter up, not too long after a high, you're still fairly paying like at a premium for it. So go heavier, 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 heaviest. Just as an example, this is just a simplified diagram of what you could do as a strategy, So on and so forth. That puts you in a relatively good average position, ready for the upswing, the uptick. All right, enough about the theory of it all. I know that's quite basic. I'm going to go across to do a bit of analysis on my Bitcoin chart here. So from the last stream, we were talking about and looking at this pennant formation. I didn't have that line in, I'll just delete it. It was this. This was the setup. And it looks like Bitcoin is trying its very best to hold this trend. So the trend being, well, the pattern being something like this. Yes, we got a bit of a breakout. Things were looking kind of exciting here, but that didn't last forever, and we actually entered back into the pennant. It got very confusing. Technically speaking, on a lower time frame, like say the 15-minute, or like even the hour, like depending how you want to cut it, we are in a downtrend, and there's no surprise about that, right? We've got a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low. So that is in essence a downtrend. So it's like, okay, will the higher time frame trend correct that? Will it fix that up for us? Is it gonna provide us with the support that we're after to carry on upward? Now also we've got the halving coming up pretty soon. Let me just get that timed in. So we've got, if I go to crypto here, and coin market cap, this shows 7 days and 2 hours to the halving. Whoop. Let me just see if I can open up the see more part. It'll let me. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so 7 days, 2 hours, and 35 minutes. How does that look on the chart? 7 days, 2 hours, 35 minutes from here. Interesting, it's not actually showing the day count on there. Sometimes it does. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. Yeah, there we go. Might have to zoom in for this as well. Alright. It's been changing a fair bit. 7 days, 2 hours is now over here. 20th of April at 12 o'clock. Okay, 20th of April, 12 o'clock. So that is 4:20. Interesting. This keeps shifting, and that's to do with the hash rate. Like this count will change. In April of 2024, the block reward will be reduced by 6.25 Bitcoin per block to 3.125 Bitcoin per block, as tracked by our countdown clock. So yeah, about a week. This time next weekend, we will have our halving, according to that countdown. So I think between here and there, we may be in for some volatility. Like this, I think, was in response to the stock market, by the way. Look what the stock market did. Let's just go to the S&P, the SPY. Okay, so the SPY, this was today's effort on the SPY. We gapped down on open. So massive gap plus a downtrend. That's what the stock market did for everyone. So crypto responded with, a down candle or a downshift. So the stock market still very much has a major influence over crypto. Simple. There's maybe some brief examples in the past of where crypto has done its own thing, but for now, this is just further evidence that it's responding to the stock market and what the stock market is wanting to do. So we just got to roll with the punches, I guess. That's all you can do, really. So yeah, that pretty much sums up what I wanted to share. I'm not in a panic at all about this pullback. Things may start to get locally concerning if we lose this level and then say these levels here. And then, you know, especially if we get below $60,000, okay, then we're in for like, you know, a broader correction perhaps that may last a few weeks, maybe a couple of weeks, few weeks, right? But for now, like, look, things are still suspended up pretty high. Like, yes, it's a pullback. It looks nasty, and it's definitely been nasty for altcoins. But yeah, I'm not scared. I'm not worried about it just yet. It's still okay. We still have our structure. Hell, we even technically, I would argue that we're still holding this trend line here. You know, that hasn't been invalidated yet. Got a wick through, just like we got a wick through down here. But yeah, that's where we're at. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. It was just supposed to be a little quick stream, and it has, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hopefully we have something else to talk about before the halving, of course. Got a whole week before that happens. So yeah, anyway, have a good night, have a good day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.